Gonna be noisy, I'm setting the nails. Want to make darn sure there's none sticking up. I'll start this over again. I don't even know if I was filming. When I got out of the Navy in 1971, I got out with a couple $100 in my pocket and a promise of a job. The job that I'd left to go in the Navy in 1967. Well, once I got the job, they tried not to give it back to me, but after about 5 physicals, they decided they weren't going to find anything wrong with me. No reason not to hire me back. When I went in, I got a promise that if I got out with an honorable discharge, that it was a union job, and they would hire me back. And eventually they did. But also, when I went in the Navy, I got a couple more promises. One from the Navy, that they would give me a aircraft maintenance school in Memphis, Tennessee. And I ended up getting that also. And they also promised me when I put my hand up and swore into the Navy that I would have health care for the rest of my life. That never happened. I don't know if they changed it since, but people that were in Vietnam, if they didn't use their health care within 10 years of being discharged, they lost everything. They never told you that. Anyway, go on home to my story. I rented this cabin, a house, that turns out later on, after I lived there a while, one of my neighbors told me that it was actually a corn crib. They stored corn in it before they turned it into a house, a little cabin or whatever. Just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath place. Kind of a little square box divided in 4 pieces. And it had an open room with a sink, but no appliances. I had no furniture, no appliances. I had nothing. A couple $100. So my mother told me a place that used to trade in appliances, and they stored them in the basement of a place in Huntington, Indiana. So her and I went there and had a pickup truck or something. Somehow I went there and I got all the stuff for the kitchen. But before I did that, I wanted to put linoleum in the kitchen. So I went and bought a roll of linoleum and just slammed it in there, kind of like I'm doing here. I haven't gone very far in my life. So everything was fine. I moved everything in. I had the kitchen all set up. And a few weeks later, I was sitting in the living room, and I could look right out into the kitchen. And I mean, it was only about 10 feet far, 10 feet. It was in the afternoon or something, and a storm was coming up, and it was blowing pretty good. And I looked out and I thought into the kitchen, and I could have swore the floor was moving. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, before I put the linoleum down, it was just a really messy, just wooden plank floor. It had holes in it where rats or something would bored through it, and they'd stuck tin cans on it, tin can lids, and pieces of tin and all sorts of stuff. And of course, I didn't put any underlayment. It wasn't my house. I was renting it. I just wanted something I could walk on and not get a nail in my foot, right? So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it looked like the floor was moving, and I walked out there. And sure enough, that the wind was coming underneath that cabin, and it was picking that linoleum right up off the floor. It was floating. The only thing holding it down was the kitchen, the appliances and stuff, but in the middle it was floating. And I never did fix it. I mean, how you gonna fix it? So every time wind would blow, that floor would come up off the ground, or off the wooden floor. But hopefully I won't have that problem here. So that's, I'm trying to think if I've ever laid linoleum since then. This may be my second try ever. So anyway, but I have talked to my brother who did it for a living. He's retired now, but he gave me some pointers. So let me flip the camera around. All right, now taking this scraper. This little scraper screws onto a handle. Screws on here. It's about 3 inches wide. I'm scraping after I hammered the nails to see if I missed any or missed anything else that might be sticking up. If I hit something, there's the plaster. Okay, I've swept it about 3 times. I pounded the nails down flush or below flush. And now I've scraped it again. And now I'm going to vacuum it one more time. And then I'm going to start putting underlayment down. Well, this is trip number, God knows how many, 50 times up here today, carrying stuff and getting tools. And just to give you an idea what I'm doing, I've got this, I had to custom cut the first piece. So we go back into here, and I got it, some of it's tucked up underneath that rug there, so that it'll go underneath the door no matter where I put the door. And I'm staggering these pieces now, but I'm too tired from walking up and down to keep going on it. But I'm staggering them without nailing them. I'm just staggering them down there, making sure there's nothing under them. I'm put in a full piece over here. Then I come over and put a full piece over there. Well, I'm still working on this room, and I just got the all the subfloor cut out in pieces. I have none of it nailed down. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let you take a look at it. I already talked to you about it, what I did. I put down as many full pieces as I could and staggered them. And now I've got all these pieces laying here. And all I got to do is nail it down. This is just sitting here. Let's go. Well, I got this floor nailed down, or stapled down, I should say. So now, this is the width, narrow part, and this is the long part. When you buy this, I got this at Lowe's. Had a heck of a time getting it up here. It was snowing when I put it on. It's just spitting snow. I thought by now it'd be warm out, but it's not. It's pretty cold, and if you've ever messed with linoleum, it gets stiffer when it gets cold. So I'm going to see if I can get that cardboard out of the center of that, so it'll move, bend, so it'll bend up and down. And I don't know what to do with this thing. I'm going to try to get it out, and maybe then I can unwrap it, bring it in here, turn it sideways, bend it enough to get it up the wall, and do it all inside here without pre-cutting it. I don't know. This is something I've been dreading. Okay, I'll keep you informed. Hold on that, and it came right out. I'm not going to say it's always going to be that easy, but it was this time. Later. That was a surprise. I was on my hands and knees stapling this, and even then, if I hadn't vacuumed, I would have missed that staple sticking up. I could feel it through the hose of the vacuum. Okay. Alright, got it unwrapped. Took my shoes off. I figured if there's anything on the floor, I'll feel it while I'm working on it. So. Alright, I've trimmed along the side here first time, but as you can see, it's still too close. I want it to have a gap like that. See? That way it can stretch. It's already, I made a gap, and look, it's almost against already. So I'm going to go along here and trim that, make a gap on it. See if I can get this. All I did was sand this off. When I took it off, I sanded it a little bit, tried to clean it up. As far as I'm concerned, this job's almost done. Bye-bye. Okay, now back to this. All right, that picture ought to do it. See, and they set themselves nice, huh? Lake life. What's out there? Cat food.